Second.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another review after so long. I'm sorry about the wait. As you can see though, I've got a different background than that, so that's why it's been so long. And also, we are doing another review after so long. And yeah, and today's review today is going to be based on Blinx, the Time Sweeper. Quite a good game. And yeah, I'll be going through this kind of in like a bit of a format thing. But yeah, hopefully it'll be good, and yeah, let's get straight into it. Now, let's talk a bit about the history of this game, how it came to be. So, this game was made by iTunes, and it was published by Microsoft. iTunes made the game and stuff. They have made stuff before this, like for instance they did some games for Nintendo, they've done some other games obviously. And to us, the game's pretty alright with how it plays, and it's based on other kind of platformer games, and it was trying to face around them, so it makes sense why they would try to go for something like this. And honestly, Blinx was designed actually by the same people who designed Dr. Eggman and I think Sonic, so that's pretty crazy. So yeah, and I think, you know, it didn't do well because it was getting released about around the same time as Halo, and as you can see, Halo kind of did better because, you know, it was kind of got a lot of ads and stuff and it was more popular. So unfortunately this game never went off, and yeah, so yeah, that's just how it went and that. And now I'm going to talk about the box art. So it basically was done in a good time and that, and then they had to make sure to, you know, make it release around the same time so they can release something that adults enjoy and children enjoy. And yeah, it just didn't go well because I think Halo was more popular than Blinx, and Blinx just never went off. Anyway, but yeah, let's just talk about the box art now. Anyway, other than the box art, as you can probably see, it was also pretty good, and it was done well and stuff. And it definitely gives off that kind of Blinx look. I do not know why it's torn, but oh well. And honestly, did they have to emphasise that it's Xbox only? Oh well. But they kind of make him look cool and stuff, I guess maybe to sell it to more of a cooler audience. But Blinx is also kind of cute as well, so it's, you know, like that as well. As of the back cover kind of gives you this thing. Just please bear with my reading. In fact, you can read it yourself if you want. It's kind of pretty cool. Just don't mind this tag. And yeah, basically it's got the pictures of the game. And honestly, this one I don't know why, but it's missing. And I think the reason why is because in fact I don't know why, well in fact it's probably because of my younger self. And then you got this little bit here that tells you about it. And then there's iTunes, the creators. And I think there's a few other devs behind it, but oh well. And it's one player as well, so yeah. Anyway, I better move on to the next bit of it and talk about the actual manual in it. I think this is for the things and that. I'm not sure if I can read it out fully because my reading's terrible. And also that Xbox only badge there. But then I think it shows other games in the manual. I have no idea what these games are. They're just random games. Oh, it's got a whole ton of games. Oh my god. Look at that. Yeah. I think they were trying to emphasise the amount of games you can get on this console. And yeah. And then there was also Xbox Gold. Yeah, remember this kind of Xbox Gold? where you had to have it as like a bit of a plug-in or something. Yeah. But yeah, as for Blinx itself, I really do think the game cover's pretty good. And now I'm going to move on to the rest of the stuff. Anyway, as of World 1, the first world in this game, it's really good. Like, the first level of it definitely introduces you to the controls and that, and tells you what it's going to be about, and it kind of like gives you the time crystals at the start, so you kind of know what it's all about with a pause. And with these time crystals, you can do a lot of cool stuff. You can reverse time, you can slow down time, you can speed up time, you can pause time, you can record yourself and then play back. It's pretty cool. So yeah, obviously though, this game does unfortunately suffer from difficulty, but we'll get to that when it comes to it. But for the first two worlds, they're pretty good. They, you know, introduce you in a good way. But the first world is called Times Square, and I mean, the title's alright with it, in fact, because it does feel like, you know, time and that. And also, this game has bosses. So the first boss you get in this is pretty difficult, a bit stressful, but as of the first boss, obviously it's going to be easy, but not that easy. And yeah, basically when you defeat him, you finish World 1. So yeah, but the first world is definitely a well done one. And yeah, anyway, let's move on to World 2 introduces you to more enemies. This time you get frogs, and these frogs, you have to throw bombs in their mouth. Don't ask. And obviously the first world had some enemies, but they weren't the worst yet, and this is just like a bit of a extra enemy to add on from the others. And yeah, and also the shops there are shops in this game, and honestly the shops are quite difficult to get, you know, to get stuff in, because stuff costs way too much in the shops, and honestly it's just, you know, how the shops are, they're quite difficult. And as of the boss, well, the boss is also pretty difficult, but not too difficult either, as always, just a tad hard. Also, it's at this point that I should mention the music. The music's pretty alright, it's pretty good. I think World 6 music is probably the best, honestly. This music though is pretty alright. Déjà Vu Canals music is pretty alright. Yeah, that's what the world's called. And as of the first world, the music's alright in that as well, in Times Square. And yeah, now let me talk about the next world. Anyway, World 3. So this is where I felt like the difficulty started to spike a bit. After the first two worlds, this is when it starts telling you that this isn't going to be an easy game. And anyway, the world is pretty alright. And there's also the boss at the end of this as always. And it's kind of like a mole, I think, but except more deadly and stuff. And basically, after you finish that mole off, you've won that world. But the world is quite difficult because the enemies are starting to be a bit tougher. You have to hit them twice and stuff. I mean, you had to do that before, but it's just much harder because it's like they make it more difficult. So yeah. So that's basically World 3, and it's also called Hourglass Caves. That, you know, I kind of like that because it's in a cave and it's got sand everywhere. That kind of gives off that hourglass feel. Anyway, let's move on to the next world. If you thought I was only going to complain about World 3, you don't know what World 4 is like. Honestly, World 4, called Forgotten City, is pretty difficult. You have to use the bombs a lot, and honestly the bombs can explode next to you and hurt you. So you have to be really careful. And if you do it right, then you kind of do well and you beat the game, I'm pretty sure. Or in fact, you beat that world, sorry. And the boss in that is basically similar to the first one, but except harder. And honestly, this is kind of where I quitted when I was younger, but it's pretty alright now that I'm older. But honestly, it was pretty difficult, and you need to use the flame sweeper. That costs quite a bit, so you need to be collecting those coins. It costs about like 300 or something. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, basically though, it's an alright world. It's just really difficult though compared to the last one. As of World 5, honestly World 5 is pretty alright as well, but it's not as difficult as World 4 in my opinion. I could get through it, but you need to do a lot of backtracking when you come to World 5. You realise that you need to do backtracking to get different kind of powers, you know, different kind of time powers. And honestly, like, it was getting really difficult and stuff, and I had to like leave the level and then restart it and stuff. And honestly, you start, I started to lose health on World 3, but when it came to this world I started to realise how much you needed time powers as well. But yeah, basically though, I do like it. It's called Temple of Lost Time, and it's in a temple, and it looks old, so I think that's pretty cool how it's called Temple of Lost Time. And I assume the time bit is basically to do with the game. So yeah, it's pretty cool how they've done that one. Unfortunately, it's not my favourite piece of music in this world. I gotta give it to Forgotten City, it gives it a bit of Western style. As of this one, it obviously has a temple style, but it's not as powerful as the other tracks in this game. Talking about other tracks, anyone ready for the playful World 6? Because honestly, this world is difficult, but I like the music a lot of this one. Just take a listen to it. Yeah, isn't it really good? I mean, honestly, it's probably one of my favourite tracks in the game. Along with some others, honestly, I do like all the tracks in this game. I think Temple of Lost Time is the weakest one, but it's still pretty good. But yeah, this is a good world. I mean, as I said, it's really difficult though. And you have these flame things that you have to shoot a lot unless you have a nice sweeper. In fact, you've got something similar to this in World 4, but they're more of just like a giant blob. So they're not as bad in my opinion, but still this is a difficult world. And yeah, basically though, after you've beat, after that 3 levels, as always, you have to face the next boss that's similar to the one in World 2. Yeah, they can't use bosses again, but except they're harder. So yeah, and then after that, you get to the next world that I'm not excited about because it is World 7. Oh, you better be prepared for World 7 because the game starts really getting difficult here. You need to keep going backtracking to get different kind of power up. You need to go, you know, to get more lives, and also you need to get probably a decent sweeper for all of this. And yeah, you need to collect a lot of rewind, especially in World 2. I mean, level 2, it was, oh god, it was difficult. And yeah, I basically quit on level 2, but I should hopefully know what the rest is like. So level 3 I'm pretty sure is harder, and the final, the world boss is also pretty difficult. After you've defeated it, then you move on to the last world, that is Forge of Hours. And for the final world, it's really well done. I really like the piece of music in it. It gives you like a bit of a, you need to finish this kind of sound, you know. Makes it feel like this is the final, you need to try and beat the boss. And yeah, it's definitely good. Also, the last one was called Everwinter, and that was a bit of an ice themed one. It had ice physics, but this time, you basically don't have ice physics, but it's still difficult because you've got tons of enemies and tons of little gimmicks you need to get around by time. And yeah. Also, did I mention in this whole game there's a time limit? So, honestly, I don't know what to say there. I mean, you really need to be fast when it comes to the game. And yeah, and then for the final boss of it, you need to face something similar to the one in World 5. So yeah, basically it's similar to bosses to stuff. And yeah, and now it's time for me to talk about the final boss. Time goes crazy, time goes all over the place and that. And then, guess what happens? You must face all 4 bosses again. You know, the newer versions of them. And you need to do that again before you get to the final boss. Yeah, it's pretty tedious, and it's a bit different from Mega Man, because in Mega Man, you get the power-ups from them, and then when you face them again, you can use their power-ups against them, so it's like no problem. But with this one, well, you've already kind of gained, you know, the skills of them in that, so it's pretty, well, I mean, I would say easy, but it's not. It's still difficult, but after that, then you get to face the final boss, that I think is called, like, what, Time Demon or something? I know it's got tons of different names. I'll just call it Time Demon. Blinx catches up to Time Demon, and, you know, that's what, in fact, sorry, Blinx catches up to the princess. Time's going all crazy, and then the Time Demon emerges, and then faces Blinx. And then you need to collect all the power-ups you can, because you need to defeat him within those powers. And then after that, you save the princess, the Tom-Toms go back, and yeah. But as a story, it's pretty good. and it's a very nice ending, you know. It's a good ending, and also if you wait long enough in the credits, the princess gives him a hug when she rewinds time. So yeah, that's a nice ending, isn't it? Anyway, let's talk about what happens when you finish the game. After beating the game, if you collect all of the cat medals and you defeat the Chrome boss, well, with all those cat medals you can get the ultimate sweeper. It's not useful due to the fact that you really needed it in the past, but oh well, that's what you get after completing the game. Like, it doesn't make sense, but oh well. And as of what I think of the other stuff, like the extra bits, like for instance, if you get a certain amount of cat medals, you can get these kind of clips of like funny stuff in that, of these weird clips and that. And yeah, basically that's what you get afterwards. And then yeah, that's everything of it. Anyway, let's talk about my rating. As of my rating on it, honestly, this game is pretty good. I think it's definitely got a bit of style to it and that. And apparently it's for free, but I don't know what that means. And obviously it's PAL. But it's a pretty good game. And honestly, after World 3, you better be ready for the difficulty spike. And honestly, World 7 nearly wanted me to throw out my controller. So this is a difficult game. But at the same time, it's a good game. So I don't want to rate it low because of difficulty. So I'm going to rate it a good rating and give it, you know what, for such a good game, I rate it an 8.8 out of 10. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching this. I hope you're all happy that I'm back. Honestly, I've missed doing these kind of videos for ages. And honestly, I'm just ready to be back to make some videos. Hopefully there'll be some extra videos on my second channel, but yeah. And as of these reviews, I don't know when they'll keep going. And yeah, so I'm hoping that that's satisfied stuff and that. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else to be seen. Yeah. So yeah, I really like this game and I don't think there's anything else to do with it. Oh, there's another game. They made another one. I might as well review this next time. So yeah, see you on the next video, guys, and we'll review this game then. I don't know what this is, but I'm sure it'll be good. Alright, see you all in the next video. Goodbye.